We are ready.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you all for coming. I will start, inshallah, with a dua, and then we will go ahead and do our reading. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ya Hayy ya Qayyum, birahmatika astaghith. أصلح لي شأني كله ولا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم آت نفسي تقواها وزكيها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. اللهم صل وسلم على محمد في كل وقت وحين. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum again. Thank you all for coming. Inshallah, we will continue reading the 11th word. We're going to be reading from pages 141 and 142. Today could be the last day we discuss the word. It's almost coming to an end. To recap, so far we've talked about the 8 aims of life in terms of fulfilling one's human potential. And we spoke about the nature of life and how important it is to recognize the keys within oneself, to learn about your creator. And so far, we have tried to understand how to use oneself as a way to know about oneself and my purpose of existence and the cause of existence. Then the question today is, how will my life look like? Again, not in terms of the material life, but more so the non-material life, which we can describe as the spiritual or religious or meaningful or human or existential life. So let's try to read together and see if we can answer that question, or at least try to understand what the author is suggesting. What view is he bringing to us, and how is it different from the one we already have? And can we find any space within us to accept it? Or do we feel like, no, there must be a different view? So I'll start reading from here. If at any point you can't see what I'm reading, if you can't hear me clearly, please let me know. Now the form of your life and the manner of its duty is this. Your life is an inscribed word, a wisdom displaying word written by the pen of power. Seen and heard, it points to the divine names. The form of your life consists of matters like these. So I feel like the first sentence is pretty strong. It's saying your life is an inscribed word, a wisdom displaying word written by the pen of power. So I feel like the author is suggesting, and as you can see my notes, so instead of viewing life as a set of events, oh, I woke up this morning, I had breakfast, I met so-and-so, I did this, or a set of accomplishments, oh, I'm gonna work, or oh, I'm gonna buy this house, or I'm gonna travel to that country, or try this new place. So instead of that, instead, I can view it as a wisdom displaying word. To be honest, I have no idea what that could mean. But so far I'm reading it as though it's saying, I can let my life be about what is important and what is meaningful to me. And to be consistent with what we've been discussing so far, if my existence is what matters to me the most, then I can submit to my source of existence to let my life be a reflection of it. What matters the most to me would be how I view things and how I treat them, even within me. Does anybody have or feel like the phrase "a wisdom displaying word" could mean something else, or what does it actually mean? Is everybody satisfied with my understanding?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Brother Ali.
It is obvious that life doesn't mean body, or being or having a living body, animate body, but it is included. But of course, especially the word life is concerned, the way I am here in this world, together with my feelings, my other qualities, including the intelligence, conscience, and consciousness, all of them. So what is the meaning of which kind of form that I have been given? So it is so strange. And why is it strange? Every feeling, although has its own individual field to function, but also they are intermingled with each other in a perfectly harmonious way. So when I live in this world, as I am experiencing my life, I don't confuse. Of course, I have the free will. I choose this way, that way. But while I am doing all this, I see that I am in a very meaningful way. I am made in a very meaningful way. And I have to take it seriously and ask the question, what am I going to do with my life? Why do I exist in this world in such a way that somebody really formed me in a way that, as if it's a written text? Why this inscribed word is used? We see that in the inscribed word or inscribed text, the letters individually exist, but they don't really function anything if they are not combined within a word. So if the words are not combined within a sentence, they have a very restricted meaning. But within a sentence, within a paragraph, and then a whole text, let's say a text of a book, that is what human beings are. We are written a book. We are as if a written book. All the letters individually exist, all the words individually exist, but they make sense when they are combined with each other. What is this? Really, it is very interesting. Every human sense represents one quality of my Creator introducing himself to me. But what was then? For example, I am the one who made you with the sense of this, with the sense of that, with the sense of, it means these are the qualities. manifested in me. So I have to read them, make a total sense of who I am, what I am in this world. As you said, we really forget. Every day, every moment, we are given certain type of life. We say, that's it, I'm hungry, I must go and have my breakfast or dinner, whatever. And, I would like to go out for a walk, or I would like to speak, or I have to go to work, or I have to study, whatever the engagements we have chosen for our life. But we don't see why am I composed in this way in order to really see what? Now, we will study and read further in order to see and understand the one who gave me existence, introducing himself in the form of course, it is too early to say this, but I would like to get our minds ready for it. Introducing himself to present that I am the one, whoever created me, I am the one who functions, if you like, or you would like to understand me in such a way that by using yourself, you will get to know which kind of being I am. What does it mean? Of course, it is if we are not careful about it, it may cause some problems. This is called anthropomorphism. No, to understand that God is one, that the creator must be an absolute being, but at the same time understand that each and every quality of the creator must be absolute. That is the main purpose of our existence as far as I can see. Now, all the absolute qualities are functioning at the same time in such an amazing harmony that there is no confusion. The result of his actions, the creation, acts of creation, is perfectly manifesting themselves on the world or in this universe. Is there any contradiction in the universe? There are animals, there are inanimate beings, and inanimate beings are, some of them are solid, some of them are liquid, some of them are air. And also every being has different qualities, characteristics. The plants are different, human beings are different. Every individual human being is different from the others. But at the same time, there is no confusion. It's such an interesting creation. For example, I have many senses, feelings, many other qualities, but my hearing doesn't prevent me from seeing. My seeing doesn't prevent me from walking. My walking doesn't prevent me from thinking. Harmoniously working, although they are individually different qualities. Which kind of form of life I have? It's amazing. Of course, there must be a purpose for it. And I have to ask the question comfortably, what is the purpose? I must this. What is the purpose? The way I am created in a perfect form, functioning in harmony with the rest of all my qualities, all my feelings all together with no confusion. Isn't that amazing, interesting? We don't really, I'm taking my own experience, I don't really take it seriously. What does it mean? I hear many other qualities, many, not other, many qualities, as if in the form of a combination of many other elements, but working perfectly. What does it mean? What am I going to do with this reality? I think we are going to study this. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Moving on. Now the true meaning of your life is this. It's acting as a mirror to the manifestation of divine oneness and the manifestation of the eternally Visut One. That is to say, through a comprehensiveness as though being the point of focus for all the divine names manifested in the world. It is its being a mirror to the single and eternally Visut One. I'm going to read it again. Now the true meaning of your life is this. It's acting as a mirror to the manifestation of divine oneness and the manifestation of the eternally Visut One. That is to say, through a comprehensiveness as though being the point of focus for all the divine names manifested in the world, it is its being a mirror to the single and eternally Visut One. Wow. So I think the word mirror here is worth like stopping at for a couple of minutes. So what does it really mean to act as a mirror of manifestation? I think we've asked this question a couple of times while we were discussing this word specifically. And then in order to actually be a mirror to the manifestation of divine oneness, then it means that I have to look within me and around me and admit confidently, with full confidence and full conviction, that I don't know, I don't own anything. So just like how Brother Ali was having us think about, well, how is this harmonious order happening, and how are things not acting up in a way to prevent the order of life from happening? The follow-up question would be then, what is behind, or who owns this order, or how is this order happening actually? And then if I can actually come to the conclusion, well, it cannot be me, of course. I'm part of the order, and nothing within the order itself can claim ownership. Then it must be an absolute being. Then the follow-up question would then be, well, what am I to do? What's my duty, or what's my responsibility? Since I don't own anything, but I get to enjoy everything. And I think the first step would be to admit that very confidently within myself, and to sort of have space, or pray to have space within me, so that the divine reflections that the divine names can be reflected through me. I see a hand up. Go ahead, Farah.
Thank you for for this reflection. I think you've stated the basis of it really well. And I just wanted to add that in reading this again, it wasn't apparent in the beginning for me that, that this sort of meaning, but like acting as a mirror, definitely, as you've shared, starts with an acknowledgement, a realization of who you are. But it might not be apparent, but I also read into it the idea of struggling and striving to be that mirror. And you mentioned sort of, asking ourselves, what is my duty or responsibility as a result of this acknowledgement? And I do take this as a process, a constant sort of effort, such that it is the process of becoming a mirror. And then it is the process of, let's just say, confirming whether or not this is true as a result of it too. So the more one, let's say, simply put, struggles or strives, whether it is changing their habits or, taking time out to be more contemplative, thinking about their acts and connecting it with their consciousness, however that might appear, or acts of worship, we can go ahead and define all of those. But what I basically wanted to highlight was that there is a process of effort and struggle and striving involved in acting as a mirror. And it is only through that struggle that you're also being honest in whether this is actually true. If those struggles and striving lead you to confirm your conclusions and that you made in the beginning as a result of reflection, then one continues with it and keeps on developing themselves. So in summary, I was also wanting to, even though it's not apparent, I was also wanting to read into it the active act of becoming a mirror through one's struggle and discipline, I guess, in some way.
Thank you very much for that. Go ahead, Brother Ed.
Excellent comment. Trying to mirror my creator's qualities in myself by acknowledging them. That's an excellent comment, mashallah. And also, another aspect is very dangerous to talk about. If we are all careful, not really keeping ourselves busy with something else and at the same time listening, then it doesn't work. It may be dangerous. But I'm going to dare jump into a very dangerous area of understanding this mirror. But if we are ready, if we are not ready, say, I'm not ready, I cannot really concentrate this morning, I didn't have a strong breakfast today or coffee today. So I don't know, either don't listen or really listen carefully. Inshallah, you will listen carefully. Because there is always a danger of anthropomorphism, which means, it's a kind of technical word, which means likening God to a creature, especially human being, because the perfect creature represents. This is absolutely wrong to liken it. But at the same time, I have to understand, especially the word you said, that the single and eternally besought one. What does it mean? Yeah, the Ahad and Samad. These are the vocabulary of very famous section of the Quran, Ikhlas. Of course, we have to understand, Quran mentions that. What does it mean? It is single, it is the only one, the one who has the power or any kind of administration, they call it lordship, they call it Godhead, whatever, almightiness, being almighty. All these qualities are, he is such a one that he is my creator is such a one that he doesn't need anything at all in order to act, and he doesn't give, not reflect, give any of his quality, a piece of it, very small piece of it, as some people liken it, but which is a wrong analogy. You know, God has knowledge like ocean. We have knowledge, one drop or one molecule of water. It is a very wrong understanding concept used this, because every molecule of water has the same nature as the whole ocean. We have to be very careful. We are not the smallest, very minuscule quality that we are given. No. How is it like? It's a very famous example we use here. For example, a piece of art reflects the quality of the artist, which kind of which kind of quality the artist has, but the piece of art is not a small piece of the artist's quality, not at all. But artist's quality through his act manifests in his work. So the best of the work of the creator of this universe is human being. So what does it mean? We are the mirror of his uniqueness, singleness, and which is called really God having an existence is not like imagination, is like he, the creator, cannot be something like a concept, as some religious traditions skip it or believe in it, a concept. But how about his real self-existing being? There is no example of self-existing, self-sustaining being in the world. Let me take this hand down. So if anybody wants to interrupt me, he can. No, there is no such thing, so we cannot imagine. Why? Do you think a piece of the art that the artist made can imagine at all its artist? One of them is a piece of stone or iron or whatever it is, or paper. The other one is a human being. It's a completely different level of existence. Human being, can you imagine? Human being can be compared to its art, a piece of, for example, painting. Can you compare it? No, it's a completely different level of existence. But at the same time, we human beings must understand that such a being, this absolute, infinite being, cannot be comprehensible, imaginable, cannot be put in any form. But at the same time, I must conclude that this being must have all of his qualities, like he created me with the qualities working. This is reflected, of course, reflected qualities, created form of qualities, like the piece of art as compared to its artist. Reflected qualities in me, not a piece of it, not like him, but he created me in such a way that I can understand my creator has an independent, absolute, infinite, unimaginable existence with his all qualities perfectly functioning in harmony with no contradiction. So belief in God must be in believing in an absolute being who exists at a completely unimaginable level of existence, which must be by definition absolute, and his qualities are also absolute, infinite, and they function as in the language of Arabic language, which is called Zat-i Ilahi. You can translate it as the essence of God, which is beyond imagination. But he must have his existence belonging to him, unique to him. We cannot imagine, but I can understand he must have an individual existence, individual personality, like I have my individual personality that he created me to act as a mirror, to understand that my creator must have an individual personality. When I say I believe in God, it is not an imaginary, phantom-like thing. Do you see what I mean? It's not only an intellectual concept. It is very serious. That's why I said it's a very serious subject, not to confuse that, these people here are saying that God is like me. I reflect God's personality. No, it is a means of letting me know how should I understand and confirm and believe that my creator has an individual personality unique to him, nothing like anything, including myself, but the way I am formed, my life is formed, gives me the opportunity or facilitates me with a belief which confirms God must have his unique existence, is not imagination, is not intellectual concept, and he is the creator. I am his created being. I understand him through my own existence. So when I, for example, perform my worship, when I make prayers to him, dua, I have to know that he responds to me as an absolute being, self-existing being. But being is very important with capital B. He is a being. How do I know? Excuse me, it's very simple. I am a being. Look, I have unique personality. I have unique individual personality to myself. I am really encompassing, my qualities are encompassing the universe only, not the created one, creator one, only the created universe. And at the same time, I am communicating with the rest of the world comfortably, through my eye, seeing, through my ear, hearing, at the same time, through my skin, touching, through my brain, thinking, through my body, physical body, muscles, moving around, doing something, and carrying my feelings at the same time. While I am doing the job, I say, oh, it's horrible, or I love it, for example. All of them are functioning as an individual. Me is a small individual me, but functioning at a universal level, but limited with the universe. I think this is an interesting subject to understand, that I must understand that when I say God, I mean he is an he has an infinite, absolute, individual personality. It is a belief, it is a conclusion. How do I conclude and confirm it so that it will become a belief? If something is not confirmed, this is not belief. Knowledge is not belief. We have to know that. So I can confirm it. I am created in such a way that I can examine my own existence, and I understand that, look, I am an individual being, but at the same time, I communicate with the rest of the universe through all my qualities at the same time. So how the creator is managing with everything? Oh, here I am. He created me in order to help me how I should believe in him, not imagine. Be careful, extremely careful. Not imagine as the some traditions imagine God with a huge being over the world or over the universe, and really using its compass in its hand and measuring everything. Of course, this is a deep understanding of image of God, as they call it, architect of the universe, because they believe that the universe is so perfectly measured, which is correct. But the creator is a huge being, old and with a long beard and long hair and handsome guy. It's a picture, it's an image. It is completely garbage. You cannot really put an absolute infinite into a form. But you can put yourself into a form. You are a form. It's a beautiful, I always use this expression, I love it. You know, the way we are given the qualities to complete and confirm about our creator is presented to us and required of us within a perfect, beautiful contradiction. What does it mean? What does it mean? Contradiction. For example, yes, I understand my creator must have an individual personality. Yet, contradiction is, yet I cannot imagine it. And another yet, I can understand from my own creation that he must have it. That's why he must have a personal, individual personality. That's why I am expected to confirm that God is Ahad and has a unique being, and also in need of anything, perfectly creating everything. He is the creator of everything. He can create everything else because of his qualities must be absolute. Absolute recognizes or knows no limit at all. That is an amazing subject to me, because when we say that I believe in God, we may not really be aware. Yeah, the creator. Is it an idea? Is it an ideology? It is just a concept. It is something blurry, like some religious traditions imagine, assume, or it is a person, but huge person, like a human being, but huge. All of them are garbage. But at the same time, we are responsible, or our abilities give us the human being, enables us, the way we are created, helps us conclude that I have an individually existing personality who is called God, which is beyond imagination, cannot be likened anything at all. That is a perfect, amazing belief in God. So that when you communicate with God, when we are worshiping, when we are praying, I know that there is an individual listening to me, aware of it, although I cannot imagine at all. I cannot liken him to anything at all. But I am sure such a being exists. Thank you. It's an exciting subject for me. Thank you for listening. And any question, any concern? Since we should never forget, this is a very sensitive subject. If we are not careful, we can just liken God to a huge human being. That is just a garbage imagination. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, thinking about what you said and what Farah said, I think practically speaking, like being a mirror is not something like the first thing is like there's nothing else to be mirrored other than the divine qualities, because that's what has, I mean, I'm gonna say that's what has real existence, and I know there's consequences for me saying these words, but I feel like being a mirror is not something in my control, really. It's not like, oh, I learned that, you know, my creator must be kind, so I'm gonna start doing what is kind so that I can reflect kindness or the divine kindness. In reality, I feel like acting as a mirror is just always removing or more so submitting to the conclusion that there is no God but God. And the more truthful my submission is, the more I can be sort of acting or moving in a way that's in a way that in a way that I feel like, okay, I'm being employed, or I'm being, it's not me that's doing anything, it's not me that's sensing and feeling, it's more like I'm given these qualities. If I can feel anything at all, it's not because of anything other than I'm given this quality of feeling at this particular moment and this particular feeling and in this particular situation. So all of it is given. So I think the more recognition of how much I'm not doing anything and how much everything is pretty much done for me, the easier it would be to connect to the idea of submission and acting as a mirror. I feel there's a huge connection between the two. And definitely what Brother Ali was talking about, not to fall into that mistake of likening myself to the creator. That also, I think, is a major idea that I would have to overcome or like resolve pretty quickly. I hope I made some sense. Any questions or reflections here? Oh, great. Go ahead. Sarah, go ahead. Then Farah, you can. Was it right? I saw Sarah raising a hand.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to unmute. It's good to see you, Radwa. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. I haven't been here in a while. But what really touches my heart in hearing what you and Farah have shared about mirror and eternally be sought, there was a connection that came to me. So of course, all of us, as we continue to live in the moments that we're given, new feelings arise, new events happen, which activate, the new feelings descend on us. And so in my practical experience, feeling a whole bunch of things while listening to this discussion, as soon as I heard eternally be sought and mirror, there was like an instantaneous connection. The problem is when I have a feeling and I think it's me, and there's this identity that's not a mirror, because a mirror literally only reflects the one looking at it, which is why this training is so important. Mirror is such clear language. So we go back to the feeling that we're all feeling. You go back to the feeling that we're all feeling, and to remember that that feeling in your existence is made to be a mirror. It's not separate from its maker. It actually looks to its maker. And then maker wasn't the word used here. It was eternally besought. For me, the connection was, there's a feeling. The feeling itself is like pointing to or looking at the eternally besought. It means that there is a need to beseech, or there's it. So samad, I was going to ask, that was going to be my next question that Dr. Ali clarified. It was the Arabic word samad. So there's this need that gets in our lives, gets activated all at once in your chest. And then to know that that's not you, it's mirroring and eternally besought, and your only purpose of existence is to see the mirror for what it truly is. It's a need that you connect to the eternally besought. And it just brought me so much solace, because it means the need in itself only has one purpose, for you to see as Samad, the eternally besought, which means the one who sustains every need eternally, the one who he takes care of everything eternally. So it immediately brought relief to everything that was stirring in my chest, because it's not me. You're right. It's the feeling itself is made for one purpose only, to see, to connect it to, reflect the eternally besought. And the word eternally besought was really, it was like, that's what I was doing. That was the missing connection, if that makes sense.
Thank you for that beautiful reflection. Thank you. Farah, go ahead.
In hearing the comments, I was reminded of, I think, a very repeated principle from this class, because I was thinking, okay, how do I think about this danger of attaching human-like image or an image to, something that is absolute and in essence unimaginable completely, and how does one, how can one be a mirror and also avoid making that mistake, or be aware of that mistake and avoid it in that process. And I was recalling the principle that we'd always discuss in this class about talking from your own perspective. And so being only able to say that which you experience. And so this also brings in the concept of not quoting or regurgitating information and knowledge that is not part of your own experience, as in something that you have confirmed, and in a conclusion that you've confirmed in your being. And so I was thinking that perhaps if one were to think that, instead of thinking about what this, being is, one has to really focus on who they are. And this analogy of the mirror becomes even more important in the sense that one must and sort of continuously practice the process of establishing their nature and their identity as an existential being, out of which one can then conclude on the qualities of this being, and I'm thinking this, like, if I'm preoccupied with just establishing my nature and identity and focus there, perhaps I don't fall, or I'm less likely, or I'm aware of falling into the danger of trying to imagine the creator first. So instead of starting with the idea of the single and besought one or God or whatever, instead of starting from there, I can fall into the error of imagining it. But if I limit myself in understanding what is actually practically only possible for me to do, which is to understand everything that is within my limits and my reach intellectually and physically, then perhaps we are in a way mindful of the error of falling into imagination of that which has no basis in our experience, or yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your reflections. We can read a little bit more unless anybody else wants to add on to this paragraph. All right. So now, as for the perfection of your life, it is to perceive the lights of the pre-eternal sun, which are depicted in the mirror of your life, and to love them. It is to display, I put in the word, because I don't know the word ardor, so in parentheses it says enthusiasm. It is to display enthusiasm for him as a conscious being. It is to pass beyond yourself with love of him. It is to establish the reflection of his light in the center of your heart. So I feel like the author is taking us through steps. So like the step number one is to actually say or agree or accept that your life is a wisdom displaying word. And then number two would be to act as a mirror of a manifestation. And then number three would be to perceive and love what is depicted in the mirror of your life. So I think the word love is what is quite a strong word to use. And I think it needs understanding as well, or attention. And for me, when I tried to understand the word love here, it was love is basically to use your will to love for the sake of the Creator, and to use this love to deepen your relationship with the Creator. So if I'm gonna sort of envision that, okay, I do agree that this life is given to me, and I would like it to become a reflection of the divine names, and I would like to act as a mirror of manifestations, then whatever I see in this mirror, whatever I witness, I can then learn to love them. And I feel like love them would be to learn to appreciate that they've been created. Not love them in the sense of like devote myself or attach myself to them. Instead, it's to acknowledge that they've been created and to accept that that's a good enough reason to love them. And by then I would attribute what I'm seeing to my Creator. So whatever I'm loving, it exists because my Creator created it. And that's how the relationship between me and my Creator really continues, or that's how it grows. But maybe we can ask, what is love here? Is it more of acceptance? Is it acknowledgement? Is it something more? Any thoughts here? Reflections or questions? This is the stage where this is the perfection of our life, so we need an understanding of this too. No? Okay, I think I can continue reading. I know I'm a little over time, but I'll ask you to take 2 more minutes to just wrap up. So, oh, sorry, I see something in the chat. What I concluded from explanation is that by mirror example, it means more than reflecting inequality. It is observing qualities through mirrors. I am needy and you are giver. Right, yes. It's observing qualities through mirrors, definitely. And I think loving them would be it's sort of the responsibility that comes after observing these qualities, making sure these qualities, I don't own them, I don't abuse them, I don't expect them at any time, I don't try to control them, I just love them. Go ahead, Farah.
Related to all of this, an example came to my mind. Imagine that we always find ourselves, I don't know, thirsty or hungry, let's say every day of the week. And we are at a corner of the street or somewhere at home, regardless. And every time we are really thirsty, someone comes and gives us water. And it happens continuously enough. To me, this sort of example relates in the sense that every time that I have a need and I'm really helpless or can't fulfill it on my own, the one that comes to fulfill it, and does it continuously. So with some level of predictability, or just like proves themselves that they are always, fulfilling it, you do begin to love them for it, or you do start to see it out of love, or you start to develop a love for them because of perceiving them as individuals who are demonstrating a concern, notice, and compassion for you. So I think it may be as simple as looking towards the one that fulfills our needs with continuity and certainty, that one develops a love, out of this experience for that source.
Right, because I think the main conclusion you'd come out with is that your need is not created without purpose or without meaning or without, or it's not created to torture you. It's a need to tell you of the giver or of the one who's going to fulfill the need. So here you can actually start to love the created need, as long as you're attributing that need to the idea of the existence of the giver. Yeah. Okay. I will read this. And I'm sorry I'm over time. It is due to this mystery that the Hadith Qudsi was uttered, which is expressed by the following lines, and will raise you to the highest of the high. The heavens and the earth contain me not, yet how strange, I am contained in the hearts of believers. The heavens and the earth contain me not, yet how strange, I am contained in the hearts of believers. And so, my soul, since your life is turned towards such elevated aims and gathers together such priceless treasuries, is it at all worthy of reason and fairness that you should spend it on temporary gratification of the instinctual soul and fleeting worldly pleasures and waste it? If you do not want to fritter away from your life, ponder over the oaths in the surah of the Quran, which allude to the above comparison and truths, and act accordingly. I'm actually gonna stop here. I hope you guys are okay with that. I think you guys can, because the verses are not explained. Go ahead, Brother Ad.
I know it is really, we are over time, but I just wanted to say how strange I am contained in the hearts of the believers. It means a believer, very simply, a believer uses the manifested qualities in itself and as an reflected qualities of my Creator through consciousness. I can understand that these qualities must be given by an absolute creator of the universe. And I can understand his qualities through using my qualities as a means of confirming and believing in him as the absolute being and as the one who is the source of existence of everything, including all my qualities. That is how the Quran presents us in the creation of Adam. What the Quran says, I breathe in Adam, or a spirit. It means a quality, if you like, bunch of quality that reflects, manifests in the form of created being, my qualities. So human consciousness uses itself and understand and believe in the fact that the reality that he is the owner of these qualities in absolute form. That is what the human and then believer's heart can contain God's qualities and confirm it, not necessarily in its own nature, but created form as an example, as the mirror. Mirror is not the source of anything at all. The real being is what the object there reflects itself in the mirror. Mirror has nothing, just reflects. But through the mirror, I can confirm the existence of the real object out there. Although I may not be able to see the real object, I am seeing the mirror only. So human capacity is comfortably qualified to confirm its creator in its all names. That's why this hadith is rejected by some people, because they imagine it in the form of physical example of it. But in fact, it is a beautiful hadith, and it gives or it teaches us how valuable our creation is. I think you will conclude that, close the session today. But before this, next week, although the time or the clock, not the time, clock will change. Clock will change now something like 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock. So not now, 1 o'clock. Now don't confuse. When the clock says 11 o'clock, clock says 11 o'clock next week, we are here. So we will start at 11 o'clock next week. We are not changing in 11 o'clock, but in fact, we are getting together 1 hour earlier. You know that. But doesn't matter. 11 o'clock is 11 o'clock. We are not changing it. Wassalamu alaikum.
Can you end the... Yeah.
Inshallah, inshallah. Okay, we will start 12th word next week, correct? Inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Thank you very much for joining, everybody. بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة. And I ask you to join me with the prayer to Allah. Our brother Habib's wife, Tahira, passed away very recently. So her spirit is waiting for us to pray for her. Please, please pray for her spirit so that Allah will treat her with his perfect mercy. Inshallah. We share Brother Habib's feeling, and also we advise him to be patient. That is how Allah takes care of us. He brought us here. He is taking us away from here. We are in his hands, secure, absolute being's hand. Don't worry about what will happen to me after my die. My creator knows what to do with my spirit. He is the creator of my spirit, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, shukran. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.